America is going through puberty right now. I don't know how else to describe it. Did you see that President Trump signed an executive order imposing 25% tariffs on all aluminum and steel coming into the US? Of course, that includes Canada and Mexico. You know why that's wild? We negotiated a 30-day reprieve from tariffs just last week with President Trump. But here we are again. It is wild, isn't it? I think I've figured it out, guys. America is going through puberty. It is fighting its friends. It is posting dick pics on social media. This is sort of the way I view Trump's running commentary on Instagram. Like, he is dissing Taylor Swift on social media as well. Like, this is what winning looks like, folks. Look, America is trying to carve a new place in the world. A place where it can enjoy the benefits of being a superpower while avoiding all the responsibility. You know, America first. It gets to do superpower things like sanction the International Criminal Court at the whim of Israel, while backing out of commitments like the Paris Agreement and the World Health Organization. Like, I hear people saying that they can't possibly take Gaza, like Donald Trump said. I think, they can, if they really wanted to. The US also gets to use its currency as a weapon with really little resistance. So when Trump says he will put tariffs on literally everybody, yeah, that makes stuff more expensive for Americans, aka inflation. But the joke's on you, because the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world, and they can just export that inflation to everybody else. So as Canadians, this kind of feels like that kid you grew up with who suddenly found drugs and decided you were too lame for them, which is ironic because Canada has a drug problem too. Like, there's a joke in there somewhere. Anyways, now that Canada is out in the cold, we need new friends. So let's rank Canada's potential trading partners from 1 to 5. At number 1, I think we should probably call China up right now. I like this idea because we know how much the Chinese enterprise terrifies America. Their cars are cheaper. They made DeepSeek AI at a fraction of the cost of ChatGPT. Remember the meltdown that cost in the stock market? Like, they must be smarter. They are so smart that they basically hooked the rest of the world on fentanyl, allegedly. Like, they supply all the precursors and have none of the overdoses, also allegedly. Like, you don't see the Fenty fold on the streets of Beijing, do you? Like, China won, you guys. Get with the program. I don't know what else to tell you here. Look, Canada's relationship with China has been strained lately. We detained the Huawei CFO in 2018. They detained the two Michaels in retaliation. They also may or may not have interfered in our last 2 federal elections. And of course, we decided to put 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs last year, partly because the US was doing it. You know how we like to follow the US into everything, right? Wish they'd remember that right now, right? Anyways, there are no permanent enemies or friends in world politics, so maybe it is time for us to call up China. What could go wrong? At number 2, I think we've got to reach out to the EU. You see, the good thing about Trump attacking literally everybody is that we all can kind of come together. Misery loves company, after all. While we're on that topic, actually, you know the other thing I was thinking? What if every country that the US has put tariffs on decides to put retaliatory tariffs on the US at the same time? Now, that would make things very interesting. We might get more Americans at that point asking about the high price of eggs, because Trump did promise to make groceries cheaper, didn't he? That might be interesting. Like, look, the Canada-EU relationship is a little easier to get into because we already have a free trade agreement with them. It is called the Canada-European Union Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement. That's a mouthful. It's called CETA for short. CETA. The idea is that it basically ensures access for Canadian goods in the EU. It reduces tariffs and trade barriers. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. The EU is our second largest trading partner right here in Canada. So let's get in there. This weekend, I saw Justin Trudeau was out in France talking to Emmanuel Macron. We know the EU is also being targeted by Trump tariffs as well. So, hey, EU, we promise we'll treat you better than our toxic ex, At number 3, let's talk to Mexico, guys. We got to talk to Mexico. We're Mexico's second largest trading partner. So maybe we do more business with them. So the other thing a lot of people don't remember is that Mexico and Canada coordinated retaliatory tariffs on the US in 2018 when Trump levied tariffs on aluminum and steel. Coincidentally, he has said that he's putting 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel this week. So what do you say, Mexico? I will caution, though, that it seems like Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, is a bit more interested in a diplomatic approach, which I translate to Mexico cannot be relied upon. Like, they will probably fold and give Trump whatever he wants. It really depends on how far Trump is willing to push them. Honestly, I think Canada would probably fold as well if Trump was actually straightforward with what he wants. You know, like if he wasn't trying to take our jobs and ruin our economy, we would probably give him everything he wants too. So I don't know that Canada and Mexico would make a great team, but we did back in 2018. And for the most part, I think we got a good deal out of the Canada-US-Mexico agreement, which Trump is now violating with reckless abandon at the moment. Ironically, it was Trump who ripped up the old NAFTA agreement in favor of the current agreement, the CUSMA agreement. It's very interesting times, guys. I don't know what you think. My fourth suggestion, how about Japan, guys? How about Japan? Like, for real, Japan is a key partner in the Comprehensive Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. I don't know who names these things. I don't know who names these things. Like, the name is so shit. Anyways, the CPTPP is basically a free trade agreement between 11 countries across the Asia-Pacific region. There's countries like Australia, Singapore, and Chile involved in that particular agreement. The really important aspect of that agreement is that it excludes the US. Basically, Trump left that agreement in 2017, right? The other thing there is that Canada and Japan have complementary industries. Like, we export energy, minerals, and agricultural products, and Japan exports high-tech stuff that requires what we can provide. It's perfect. It's perfect. Like, I will say, though, that Japan's economy has been in decline for decades now, but who isn't in decline right now? At number 5, the last country on my list here is the UK. Right now, we've got the Canada-UK Trade Continuity Agreement. You know how I said we have the Canada-EU Trade Agreement? This Canada-UK Trade Agreement replaced that particular agreement post-Brexit. And speaking of Brexit, are they planning to go back to the EU? I mean, Brexit has proven to be a spectacular failure. So anyways, that's not my cup of tea right now. Right now, the UK is looking to strengthen trade outside the EU. So Canada is an attractive dance partner. Both nations support rules-based trade, which is not something that you can say about the US right now. So this makes us natural allies against US protectionism. But I will say this as I kind of conclude this video. We're not going to stop trading with the US. We share the largest land border in the world with them, so we're not going to stop trading with them. But think about this. Canada is a really attractive girl. I don't think we need to stand for all this disrespect, never mind the inconsistency of the loving from the US. So, Canada, my girl, put some makeup on, wear a nice dress, a nice sexy dress, and go see the world. I'm sure there's someone out there who will see your beauty. Like, go get your respect, Canada, my girl. Go get your respect. Anyways, who do you guys think could be a great dance partner for Canada right now? Let me know which countries or regions I've missed on my list. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and join the conversation. I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.